Hi, it's Josh Marshall from TPM Media. It's Wednesday, October 22nd, 2008, 13 days before the November election. You know, no one likes hearing someone say, "I told you so," but in today's episode, we're going to make a small exception. You know, there were those of us who, when John McCain picked Sarah Palin as his running mate this year, said it was a decision that McCain was going to come to regret. Basically, she was someone who was going to energize the base of the Republican Party, but wasn't going to give John McCain that traction among Democrats and independent voters that was really what he needed to beat Barack Obama. In addition to that, she just had too many skeletons in her closet. You've seen that with Troopergate, her stories about the bridge to nowhere not panning out, a whole lot of stuff that's come out over the last 6 weeks. Now, obviously, in the short run, Palin helped John McCain move ahead of Barack Obama for the first time in months. So a lot of us felt pretty exposed for a while, but now it's becoming even more clear than I would have anticipated that Sarah Palin is really hurting John McCain in the stretch of this campaign. Some anecdotal evidence for this comes in newspaper endorsements. Now, Barack Obama is beating John McCain by a long shot in newspaper endorsements this year, but what's particularly telling are conservative newspapers that have seldom, if ever, endorsed Democrats endorsing Barack Obama and listing as one of their main reasons they're concerned about Sarah Palin. Now, one example is the Eagle from College Station, Texas. Here's part of what they said in their editorial endorsement of Barack Obama. Of great concern is McCain's selection of Sarah Palin as his running mate. Like Obama, she has little experience in governing, but unlike the Illinois senator, she is a candidate of little intellectual curiosity who appears to be hopelessly unready to be president. Next, let's go to the Houston Chronicle. Perhaps the worst mistake McCain made in his campaign for the White House was the choice of the inexperienced and inflammatory Palin as his vice presidential running mate. Had he selected a moderate, experienced Republican lawmaker, such as Texas Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson, with a strong appeal to independence, the Chronicle's choice for an endorsement would have been far more difficult. Now, those are editorial endorsements, which of course are not necessarily representative of voters at large, but there have been several polls that have come out, national presidential polls that have come out over the last week that show that not only has Sarah Palin become a lot less popular than she was 6 or 7 weeks ago, but that she's actually becoming a major drag on John McCain's ticket. Let's start with the NBC Wall Street Journal poll released just yesterday. According to the findings, quote, Palin's qualifications to be president rank as voters' top concern about McCain's candidacy, ahead of continuing President Bush's policies, enacting economic policies that only benefit the rich, and keeping too high of a troop presence in Iraq. Well, that's pretty astounding. That means that Sarah Palin is now a greater concern to voters than basically all of the top issues that the Obama campaign has been pushing against McCain for the last 6 months. Next up, the New York Times CBS poll released the day before. Mrs. Palin's negative rating is the highest for a vice presidential candidate as measured by the Times and CBS News. Even Dan Quayle, with whom Ms. Palin is often compared because of her age and experience on the national scene, was not viewed as negatively in the 1988 campaign. One of the things that's interesting about how the Palin pick has affected McCain is that it's basically hit him on two different levels. On the one hand, voters are concerned that Sarah Palin could actually become president, since John McCain is a cancer survivor. He's 72 years of age. So this is a real concern in a practical and immediate sense. This woman could actually become president of the United States. I think it's possible, however, that even more devastating for McCain than these questions about Palin actually becoming president are the ways that that pick has affected voters' ideas of John McCain's judgment. They question his judgments. They say, what was he thinking when he picked Sarah Palin? It seems to many voters, not just Democratic critics, but an increasing number of voters, that it's an example of poor judgment, a reckless approach to governing that they fear he would bring into the White House. To find out the very latest on the presidential polls, you can go to our poll tracker map on the front page of TalkingPointsMemo.com. I'm Josh Marshall from TPM Media, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.